Hello and welcome to another Hawkview Collector update video. In this video we'll be going over what's new in Hawkview Collector version 4.2.0.0. Before we begin, I'll just remind you that everything we're talking about is available in the user manual, accessible through the help menu in Hawkview Collector. So there's quite a few things new in this version. First and foremost, we've added the ability to add notes to a workspace that are associated with tags and a timestamp. So to add a note, you simply right click on a trend, click add note, and it creates a note for the view associated to all the tags currently in the view. So you can add note here. You can adjust the note viewer to show whatever you'd like, and then you can change the tags that are associated here. So let's just see all the acquisitions. Just add a couple of them. You'll see the note gets added to the view on the bottom. You can right click on it to open it, delete it, or unlock it and move it around. You can also see all the notes you have in your workspace by clicking on Tools, View All Notes. And this gives you a highlight of the timestamp and the note to edit and remove those notes as well if you would like. Lastly, for the notes, you can change the visibility in your viewer. So you can hide the notes to not see them, show relevant to show only the notes relevant to the tags in your current viewer, or show all to show all notes in your workspace. Currently I only have one note, so show all versus show relevant. It's not doing much of a difference. The next new feature added is the regions feature. So to create a region, you simply hold down the control and left click on your viewer and drag the mouse. And this will highlight a section of your viewer and let you perform operations such as creating a new equation with the boundaries as your start and end time and all of the tags at your disposal. You can also export within the time range, view the statistics, some other details. You can also add a note, and this will add a note to the beginning of the time range for all the tags within the time range. You can customize it however you'd like, but more importantly, it pins it to your view. So this becomes a region saved in your view. You can create multiple regions if you would like. Just pin them, and they'll be there. If you don't want to keep this, you can simply right-click, and where you had add note, you'll now have delete. You can remove the region. The note will, however, stay. It has to be deleted independently. You can also delete the note without deleting the region. Lastly, for regions, you can change the color if you would like to create some nice displays, highlight different sections of importance within your data. The next thing that was added is the ability to add multiple hairlines in your viewer. We've also removed the old right-click to delete. Now you simply click on a hairline to select it and press the delete key to remove it. You'll notice that in the legend, the hairline and hairline time are empty unless I click on a hairline. Now that you have multiple hairlines, I'm not exactly sure which one you'd want to see, so you have to click on it to select it in order to see it. You can also move your hairlines by dragging a selected hairline. Remove a few of these. Another thing that was added is the ability to add new tags simply by right-clicking on a trend. So if you see here, right-click, there's add tags. It's currently grayed out because we have no sources that are connected. So if I connect an OPC server, the add tags feature lets you open a new OPC acquisition, and instead of creating a new viewer, it'll add those tags to your current viewer. So let's create a new acquisition with one tag in it. Call it OPC1. Start that. And we can right-click on this trend, go to Add Tags, select our server. If you have multiple servers, they'll all be listed. And we can add another tag if you would like, OPC2. This will create an acquisition named OPC2. However, instead of opening a new viewer, it'll add that tag directly to the current viewer you have open already. We also added another zoom option. So previously you had zoom all, zoom Y, and zoom stack. We have now added the zoom scale option. So if you click on this, it will zoom your trends to the scale provided during the acquisition configuration. In this case, they're both 0 to 100, but if I were to change that, it would change the zoom scale. So if we make this minus 50 to 100, click on the zoom to scale, changes our zoom. Same rules apply with your shift click to join and control click to split. Next thing that was added is the ability to create a standard deviation function as well as conditional expressions in the equations module. So if I right click on an equation here and do new equation from, you can create conditional equations such as if A is less than 0, output 0, else output square root of A. There we go. Now previously this would be necessary in order to create an equation where you have a square root that could be 0. However, we've also added the ability for Hawkview Collector to manage equations that are in error and continue functioning even if a calculation error occurs, such as a negative square root or a divide by 0 exception. So if we remove this, and in fact I'm going to try and force this down a little bit lower, and CRT, we'll just give this some properties so that it runs. We'll give it the same frequency and we'll start this. Let's add them to it. So you'll see we have a few cases where our output here was lower than 0. And as a result, our equation, if we were to zoom in on one of those cases, our equation outputs a value of 0 and places a note tied to this equation, tied to this tag that says that the equation resulted in a calculation error, so that you can see that there's a 0, but you also know that there was an error that occurred here, and then it will pick up again as soon as it can. Lastly, a few additional options were added to the preferences menu. In the graph tab, you can choose to interpolate between points or keep a step. You can choose to open running acquisitions within the last hour or 8 hours. So that way you don't open an acquisition that has been running for a day or 2 and it loads the entire thing. You can go straight to the end. You can also change the default time axis units and the default hairline time. That's it for this update. If you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you for watching.